And away we go. You start this week. Just one time.
No.
What do you think we should talk about?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Look at the sheet that we got. All right, so Saudi Arabia is where we're going to kick the show off this week. So the big story around wrestling is, should they cancel the show or should they run the show? What do you think?
I think they should change the location.
Boy, that's going to be difficult on this short of notice.
I have heard that they're going to be in England. They're going to be in the UK next week. So, I mean, the week after it, and they were going to do tapings there. So, I mean, they have buildings there, and I've heard that there's a building open, ready for them if they want to change the location.
I mean, it sounds simple, but you're changing, television production, you're moving things. It's not like moving from, Pittsburgh to Altoona. It's moving, from
one country to another country.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I don't think that they can move it. To me, I think the only two options are run the show or cancel the show. Mm-hmm. So if you were given those two choices, run the show, cancel the show, based on what we know. For anybody that doesn't know, there was a reporter that was killed and dismembered. He had spoke out against the Saudi government, and he, as a result, it's a pretty big deal, obviously. And there's some pressure on the WWE as to whether or not they should run this show. Mm-hmm. Now, so we come back to our question. Do you think they should run the show or cancel the show?
I don't know. I really don't. It's going to be a big loss of money if they don't run the show because they're getting millions of dollars from this.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation. At the end of the day, if it's up to the fans, I think the fans will say just run it. But ultimately, I don't think, especially based on the booking, that WWE answers to its fans at all. They answer to their sponsors, to their stockholders, and that's it. They don't answer. And sometimes I'm not even sure if they answer to those guys.
Right.
So if there's enough pressure put on by the stockholders and by the advertisers, then they will cancel the show. I don't think that's going to happen. My point of view is, I don't want my wrestling and my politics mixed. Mm-hmm. I don't want something happening in politics that sort of... loss of life is not fringe, but to me, this doesn't involve wrestling. Mm-hmm. Just run the show. I mean, you don't have to be in love with everything. I mean, they turned a blind eye to not letting women wrestle on their shows. Why would they not turn a blind eye to this? So I think they're probably turned a blind eye, collect the big payday, mm-hmm. and, in a few months, the news cycle runs so quickly that in 2 weeks, this is going to be a forgotten story. Mm-hmm. Just run the show.
They're already running it as... This whole week of wrestling, they've been promoting it as just the crown jewel. They haven't been saying
Saudi
where
Arabia.
It's at.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So for me, I think run the show. For people that say don't run the show, I'm not going to fight with you. I understand their point of view, and in a lot of ways, they're definitely right. But for me, I say run the show. I don't like what they... I don't know the difference between wrestling and how our country should handle this deal with Saudi Arabia are different. So I say run the show. That's the heavy stuff. Let's get to the light stuff. SmackDown, before we get into all the parts of SmackDown, big return on SmackDown. I feel like it's just a one-off for now. Mm-hmm. Batista returned. What did you think of his appearance?
I thought it was good. I thought the promo that he cut was a little too long.
Yeah.
It was a good promo, but it was a little too long. And I think he's not used to the hard cam, having to act towards the hard cam, because he did a lot of toning
back to camera.
Yeah.
His promo was to the three guys in the ring. It seemed like right,
because he's used to doing that. Because in movies, that's how it is. But
right,
yeah.
Well, he was a wrestler for a long time. You'd think he'd know about the hard cam.
He probably does. It's out of it's.
Yeah. What did you think of the line with Triple H?
I thought it was good. I think that there was going to be. I don't know if it would be this Mania, but something soon, I think will.
I hope it's a Mania. I mean, it's something I'd be interested in. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought it was good, and it's funny to see a crowd. Now, for granted, this was Washington, D.C., this is Batista's hometown, but the crowd reaction was phenomenal for Batista. And I would think that anywhere he went at this point, he would get a pretty good reaction because he really is, in a lot of ways, a huge star.
Yeah. I have a feeling that they'll probably do the chanting of the Boo Tista and the Blue Tista, but it's going to be kind of like the
John Cena
and the Kurt Angle, like,
you suck. Yeah. I think he did a smart thing. If he is coming back, he owned Boo Tista and he owned Blue Tista. Like, he just owned it. He's like, yeah, that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you want to do, that's fun. So I'm on board. I'm on board. I was never like a big Batista guy, but this particular segment, if it follows through, I'm curious and I'm interested.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Talking about SmackDown as a whole, what did you think of the entire 2-hour show?
I thought it was good. It did build towards the next pay-per-view, the Crown Jewel, but I felt like, I don't know, none of the storylines really progressed. There was a lot of old wrestlers coming back and doing like promo stuff, not a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
How many matches were on last night?
Not a ton. We got new tag team champions,
Yeah.
which, I'm fine with. I usually like to do something like that on one of these big shows to make them even a little more memorable. So I sort of would have guessed that, and I was fine with it.
Did you enjoy the tag match, or did you not so much with the big show?
I mean, the ending was fine. I mean, the Big Show is a guy I don't care about at all, and it's not his fault.
Right. Last week he was a babyface, this week he's a heel.
Yeah, they have no consistency on what they want to do with it, and in my mind, I think if you have a guy that's been this loyal, and he's not Kofi Kingston able to do everything, but he's also a giant.
Right.
Like, he's able to do a lot.
Yeah, I thought his match last week against Randy Orton was fairly good.
It was fine. Yep, it was fine. I don't grasp what they're looking for and what they're doing, which brings me to my big point of SmackDown. Nakamura. Like, I don't mind Rey Mysterio. I like Rey Mysterio. I think he's an extraordinary, once in a lifetime performer. But I mean, there's so much more upside to Nakamura. People are going to be done caring about him in the same way that they have been with other really great talent. I mean, guys that you want to draw money with have to win sometimes. And like, Nakamura is either not on television or not doing anything interesting every week, and it drives me nuts. And he, 3 years ago, before he got signed to the WWE, was like one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. And when he got signed to the WWE, I was like, oh, I don't know, this might be bad. Then he went to NXT, and it was like, oh, all right, this is great. He's killing it here at NXT.
Yeah.
Got called up, they haven't done anything with it, and it just wears me out to no end. They've got 3 or 4 good years that they could really do something with Nakamura, like make him a main event level star, and they're not doing it.
Right.
And it makes me nuts. And it's not just him. It's not him. This week it was particularly him. But I just don't understand the rationale of what they're trying to accomplish with their roster. This 50-50 booking and, pushing guys that are coming back and taking away from guys that are there all the time. Rey Mysterio is in his 40s. He's not going to be able to do that every single night. So we're, again, pushing a guy like Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio down our throats in favor of guys and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Right. We're getting those guys that can't do it but once a month pushed down our throat. Where's the next generation of stars going to come from? Right. Where's our next Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane? I don't know. It makes me nuts.
I heard that Undertaker did an interview, and he said that he has to continuously come back because he hasn't found that person that's going to take his torch. That, like, there's no younger guy that's good enough to take his place.
I think there's lots of guys. Who gets the opportunity, though? Give guys the same opportunity that Undertaker did to never lose on television and see if they don't become the same star. Nothing against the Undertaker. I'm an Undertaker fan. But if he said that, like, that's crazy talk. Nobody gets the same opportunity that the Undertaker did to go 22-0 before they lose at WrestleMania. Nobody gets to go on Raw, SmackDown, all the other shows in between, and be a main event level guy all the time. So Undertaker is a product of what was booked for him. And guys aren't getting that opportunity now. Women aren't getting that opportunity now. I mean, Asuka was given that opportunity and, was pushed pretty hard and then lost once and now nothing. Like, how can she be a star if she's an afterthought?
Right.
When was Undertaker ever an afterthought on television? So many of the guys that are on television now on any given week can be an afterthought. The Miz was not on television last night. He did like a little segment. Here's another example. Here's a guy that can be the next Undertaker. Mm-hmm. He's not on television. Mm-hmm. Nakamura, we do nothing with. So, I don't know. I don't think that's fair. I think that that was my big complaint. I enjoyed the show as a whole. Obviously, Edge coming back was fun. All the old commissioners coming back was fun. All the McMahons at the beginning of the show was fun. Truth TV is fun. I hope they keep that on TV all the time. But I don't know. It makes me crazy. The night before was Monday Night Raw. What do you think of Raw as a whole?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was fair.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but it wasn't terrible.
What did you think of the Ronda Rousey promo?
It was okay. It was some parts that were a little funny, but it was good. Yeah,
did you? Are you offended by the comments of like the Bella Twins only got their spot because that's always been the murmur on the internet that they got their spot because of who they're dating or married to. Does that bother you to hear that on television?
No, because I know it's fake. Like it's not like it's. I know that was a scripted line. I know it's not like Ronda Rousey didn't like choose to say that. So it
doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It got a great reaction.
It did.
Live crowd always gets great reaction. I think I like wrestling when there's a mix of reality and fiction, and I think that's sort of what that did. That was good. What did you think of the end of Raw, where it seems like maybe there's a conclusion to this Dean Ambrose thing, where he is definitely with the Shield, but the other team looks like that's an end, and maybe Drew McIntyre is on his way up.
It was interesting. I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bored with the Dean Ambrose leaving the Shield. Either do it or don't do it. Like, it's good to tease it for 1-2 weeks, but like, we're on like week 4 or 5 of this teasing.
I think I might be wrong. We'll find out next week, but I think there was a conclusion to it this week.
Was there?
I think so. They all sort of stood in the ring afterwards and hugged and made out. And
that's what they do every week.
Yeah. No, not last week. Ambrose ran off, so I don't know. Do you like... you and I think, are both pretty big fans of McIntyre. Mm-hmm. Do you think that McIntyre is capable of being the main event guy on pay-per-views? Like if you put Dean Ambrose, or if you put Drew McIntyre in a ring with Brock Lesnar and he beats Brock Lesnar, do you find that credible?
I've never seen him in a ring with Brock Lesnar, so...
He's bigger than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I'd buy it. I think the problem we're going to run into is that he's got to be on a different brand than Roman Reigns.
Okay.
I don't think that you're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns.
Ever. Why?
I don't know. It's just a feeling. Like,
okay.
They just don't... It feels like it would be not what...
See, I would have went the other way.
Want for Roman
I would have
Reigns.
thought we'd have got so much Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns that we would have got sick of it. Mm. So I don't know. You could be right. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. But I'm on board with Drew McIntyre.
Me too.
I think he's a main event level guy. I'm not convinced he's a giant breakthrough John Cena, Rock. And I've been wrong before.
I think he makes a good heel. I don't know if he'd make a good babyface.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a fine babyface at NXT, but, working at NXT and on the main roster are pretty...
completely different.
Yeah, pretty different, obviously. So, I don't know. I don't know. I did read somewhere today that maybe he's due for a big push and is going to be the next guy there. Mm-hmm. But I still think the next guy there, to me, is still... what's his name? My brain is concussed.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. like I still think he is that guy, and hopefully they bring that back around because I think that he's a guy that people want to get with, and it was a mistake turning him heel, and I think some of the wind went out of his sails as a result of it. But hopefully they're smart and can bring it back around. I don't know. I don't know, but so that's the big thing we wanted to close on today was Drew McIntyre. So I thought SmackDown overall was good. I was disappointed with the Nakamura part of it. I thought Raw was really flat, and sometimes I mentioned this to you either last night, maybe it was last night, that I feel like maybe WWE has so many sort of mediocre to bad shows to remind us whenever we get a show like SmackDown that's really good, that makes those shows a little more special. Because if they're good every episode and every week, then the ones like SmackDown 1000 aren't as special.
Right.
So, do you think there's any validity to that, or am I just making that up in my own mind?
I think what's helping them be good shows is the fact that there was a lot of like returning, like fun stuff, like kind of like little Easter eggs, I guess, for the older.
Right. Tell you what else would make it a good show. A little bit too sweet.
No.
Huh? It would make this show good.
No, thank you.
It would. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Too sweet. Huh?
No.
One time?
Nope.
All right, well, I guess we're going to close tonight. You got anything else you want to add? All right, I think that's it then. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here 1 week from today.